First, there are times when compassion should not be shown. For example, if someone deliberately persists in sin, it would be wrong to feel that we should compassionately shield them from discipline. See, that would be misplaced compassion. Let's notice an example in ancient Israel. Please turn with me to Deuteronomy chapter 13. Deuteronomy 13, if you look in verse 6, the Israelites were commanded that if a brother, child, or you notice there some expressions such as cherished wife or closest companion, if any of those were to urge a person to serve other gods, notice the instruction in verse 8, you must not give in to him or listen to him, nor should you show pity or feel compassion or protect him. Instead, you should kill him without fail. Now, why was that so important? Why was it important not to show compassion? Well, verse 11, then all Israel will hear and become afraid, and they will never again do anything bad like this among you. So it was for a protection for the nation. If someone tried to turn an Israelite from serving Jehovah, that was not the time to show compassion. Yielding to pressure to show compassion when it's contrary to God's will can have serious consequences. So we certainly need to avoid misplaced compassion. So while the moral climate has killed compassion in the hearts of so many today, we want to be known for our compassion. Of course, never would we want to display misplaced compassion if someone deliberately persists in sin. Rather, we want to imitate Jehovah and kindly act on our feelings of compassion for those in need. So as we go about our day, let's look for ways that we can heed the admonition there at Ephesians 4:32, become kind to one another, tenderly compassionate.
I'm reacting to this video for the first time because this was actually uploaded to jw.org over the Christmas period. Here we are in January 2021, and I finally have time to sit down and reflect on the fanatical extremist diatribe that we've just been listening to. Here is a governing body helper, Leonard Myers, inciting hatred against anyone who leaves the organization or anyone who suggests that it might be a good idea to leave the organization. And you can imagine how this feels for me as someone who has been accused of being a hate speech enthusiast by CCJW, by Jehovah's Witnesses. In 2020, I obviously have my hate speech series in which I'm going through methodically all of the various examples that they've given of me being hateful. Well, what about this? What about a governing body member invoking a text from Deuteronomy that says anyone who tries to dissuade us from our religion should be slaughtered? How is that not hate speech? How is that not inciting violence towards those who see things differently or have different religious views? And let's just be realistic for a moment. I don't expect any Jehovah's Witnesses will be picking up their swords or rushing to the gun shop to buy weapons so that they can go around in a violent frenzy mowing down apostates. We all know, realistically, that's not going to happen. I think we need to have some context here. Nevertheless, how is this not hate speech? And when we're talking about an organization that has perfected the art of killing someone without killing them, in other words, shunning them and treating them as though they don't exist, which for many victims of shunning ends up becoming a reason why they can no longer continue with their lives. There are so many examples anecdotally of where that sort of treatment has had the effect of ending someone's life, because we're social creatures. We're not designed to deal with having people we care about turn their backs on us. We're just not designed to cope with it. And this sort of dehumanizing, vile, hateful rhetoric coming from the faithful slave, coming from a governing body helper, obviously isn't going to help. If anything, it's going to make Jehovah's Witnesses feel justified in perpetuating this vile shunning policy.